Exciting weekend of sports. Um,
Indeed.
Obviously, we had our Sweet 16 and Elite Eight games this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Our Final Four is set. We're going to talk about that because there was some choking involved. So hopefully people stay safe out there. Uh, UFL, we're from the city of Louisville, Kentucky. We now have a UFL team, Louisville Kings. We were at a game Friday night. We're going to talk about our experience with that, and then we had MLB open weekend, and then we're going to talk about the new ABS system that they have. Apparently, Clucas is um, chubbed up about it. So let's let's go ahead and start with the tournament.
Well, speaking of things I was chubbed up about from this weekend, Tennessee and Duke being denied to a Final Four. Just
As a
love it.
Kentucky fan, that is great for you guys.
Well, what a great weekend it was. So I guess we could start with um well, I guess let's go from the beginning from Thursday's games up until yesterday. So let's start Texas Purdue was pretty entertaining for the most part. I thought for a moment there that Purdue was going to choke that away. Now let's keep this in mind. Uh, I'm trying to remember the names. I believe it was Jordan Pope and Tremont Mark for Texas. Both of them, and so Jordan Pope allegedly was playing with a broken foot that game. He finished with 12 points on 4 of 10 shooting. All four were from three, 4 for 9. Tremont Mark, I don't remember exactly when he did it, but I know at some point he rolled his ankle because he was limping up and down the court, worse than Pope was, and Pope had the broken foot. Um, and Mark finished the game with 29 points on 11 of 15 shooting, 5 for 7 from three. If Purdue had lost that game to two hobbled players, that would have been pretty embarrassing. But it did come down to a final shot at the end of the day. Trey Kaufman ran with the tip in at the buzzer. Um, well, not at the buzzer. There was like 0.3 on the clock,
Point
but
three or
still,
something, yeah.
Yeah. But last second tip in, um, Purdue was able to move on. Now the other game, the exciting part of Thursday, Iowa upset Nebraska. And I say upset because Nebraska, I mean, both teams were hot going into the game, but Nebraska was the favored team, and Iowa played very, very well against Nebraska. In the what people were calling was the corn game. So, um, Illinois upset Houston on Thursday that night. That was a real shocker. Again, I thought Illinois has been good all year, but I thought Houston was kind of on a like little revenge arc from last year, and I thought Houston would be able to make their way. I mean, Illinois pretty much dominated that game from start to finish. So, was a little shocking to see Illinois upset um, Houston in that one. Arkansas, Arizona. Listen, I know America's favorite player from this tournament had turned out to be Darius Acuff. Welcome to for Arkansas fans and for all these people that are new to this, welcome to the John Calipari Kentucky experience that's now at Arkansas of having an exciting team and or an exciting player that's going to let you down. And not saying that Darius Acuff let them down because he still finished with 28 in that game, but it's just the you have your high hopes and eventually it's going to all fall apart. But in saying that, usually with the John Calipari experience, that comes with losing to a team like St. Peter's. Losing to a team like Arizona is nothing to, hold your head low about because Arizona is more than likely going to move on to win this national championship.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what was more shocking at the fact that Arizona dominated Arkansas, which I pretty much knew they would. I don't know. There were a lot of people that were like, put your money on Arkansas. And I was like, you're just going to throw your money away. Arizona won this game against Arkansas, attempting only 8 threes for the whole game. They were 5 for 8 from 3 against Arkansas.
Yeah, in today's game, that is very uncommon.
They pretty much straight free throwed and layup fucking Arkansas to death. And won by 21 because of it. Then we move on to Friday. Duke beat St. John's. Now these games were going on. We were at the, we'll talk about a little later. We were at the UFL game. We didn't really get to watch any of these games. But Duke did end up beating St. John's. Michigan ended up blowing out Alabama. UConn beat Michigan State, and then Tennessee with the huge upset over Iowa State, which, again, as I told you last week, knowing what I knew, going if Kentucky could have just found a way to get past Iowa State, to have that matchup against Tennessee again would have been great for me. But then we moved to Saturday. The Iowa Cinderella story came to an end. Illinois pretty much handled business all the way through to win that one. And then Arizona and Purdue, for a slight second, it seemed like Purdue was going to beat Arizona. And Arizona was down, I believe it was 7 at the half. And Arizona came out in the second half and flipped that switch and dominated the remaining portion of that game. And again, it just goes to show you why probably Arizona is going to end up cutting the nets down here in a couple weeks. And then we get to yesterday. The Michigan-Tennessee game wasn't really worth watching. Michigan dominated them. It wasn't really close. But the unlikeliest of things happened yesterday afternoon. UConn Duke matched up. And Duke at one point was up 19 in this game and lost in dramatic fashion. Duke came down. They were up 3. We were watching this in the parking lot from after our softball game. Duke was up 3, came down, they fouled. UConn missed the first free throw, hit the second, and then all of a sudden, Duke Duke forgot how to break a press. Where it really all went bad for them was, I know a lot of people were going, well, why didn't Cam Boozer just hold on to the ball off the inbounds? You honestly, from the moment they inbounded it, from that point, they executed the press break pretty well. You got it back to the person that inbounded it. You got it to the middle of the floor, which is where you want to get it in the press break. The problem was when Caden Boozer took that dribble as soon as he caught it and then he picked it up, you're leaving yourself in no man's land. You can't catch that dribble and then pick it up. You have to catch it, ball fake, and then dribble around the press to get it up floor. And he didn't, and the ball was tipped. Did you say that again?
I said he panicked.
Yeah. Ball was tipped, which led to a UConn coming up with the ball, which led to I don't really want to say miracle shot, because in today's basketball, probably Braylon Mullins probably works on that shot a lot.
Yeah.
So I won't really call it. 10 years ago, we would have said that's a miracle shot. But today's game, Braylon Mullins probably works on that, like I said, a lot during practice. And it was a catch and shoot essentially from between midcourt and the 3-point line. And it was nothing but net. And left about 0.4 on the clock. Duke didn't really have a chance. Game was over. UConn wins.
I really hate that. It's Caden and Cam. I hate that Caden Boozer is not going to be invited to any more family events because of what he did. So I hate that for him. And I just don't feel sorry for Duke. Duke beat us bad twice this year.
You can't feel bad for Duke.
Can't feel bad for Duke. I just never do. I will say there's a lot of people saying that Shire is just a choke artist, all this stuff. I'll be honest, the dude's been in 2 Elite Eights and a Sweet 16 in his 4 years.
This makes now, though, back-to-back tournaments where they've had big leads in a game, though, and lost it.
Yeah, but it's for his fourth year coaching, and he's already had this much success. I think people need to cool it a little bit on that. I think Shire's a good coach. I think he'll figure that out. But the trend, I guess, is what people are saying is not the best.
Yeah, because I mean, and people already specifically like I was watching Barstool last night. They were like the only thing that's gonna because now it has become a trend. The only thing that's gonna put an end to this is if he wins the national championship. That's the
Yeah.
only thing that puts an end to this. Because again, I mean, you're talking about the last 2 years, and trust me, you're talking to somebody that knows this all too well of having arguably the most talented roster and not getting the job done. And trust me, I know exactly how it feels because it's happened to me multiple times. And just falling short. So, yeah. Also, a lot of people were giving. I mean, a lot of people have been giving Caden Boozer a lot of crap all year, calling him Brawny Boozer, because they're just basically just saying that he rides the coattails of his brother, saying. And I did agree to an extent. I will never call somebody Brawny Boozer, but because I didn't think Caden was as good as everybody made him out to be. I did think that playing next to his brother, who is a phenomenal player, made him look a little better than what he was. I thought he's definitely a college basketball player, Division I college basketball player, but I thought he should have started off smaller and then maybe eventually worked his way to a school like Duke or something. But I just didn't think he was ready for the Duke moment right away. And as you could see last night,
Well, you say that though, but he was the second leading scorer on the team behind his brother. He was 15
yeah.
points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. With Caleb Foster out, he actually kind of stepped up quite a bit.
Well, and Foster played. He just played very little minutes yesterday.
Yeah, he played 14
He
minutes.
played like 4 minutes or something like that.
14.
Okay, so like my thing is, in a moment like that, you have a timeout coming out of the free throw. Why not call a timeout? Get everybody situated, and I would have put Caleb Foster in at that moment, unless he just looked at you and said, "I can't go because whatever injury he's been worried about." I'd have put him in just because I'm going to go in saying at least I know my experienced players who are I know built and ready for the moment are in the game.
I mean, he went through a whole ACC tournament with Caden Boozer. I mean,
I get it, but
you got to trust your guys eventually. I mean, he's been starting for that long.
I get it, but again,
I don't know.
That's my senior guard that's been there, done that. I'd rather have him in there in those moments.
What I was saying earlier was obviously a joke. I think the kid just made a mistake. I think he played very well in the tournament. And I think maybe you're bashing him a little bit, but I think he's proven that he can play at a high level.
No, and that's what I'm saying. He definitely could get to this point eventually, like where he's going to be playing this good consistently. I just think eventually, I just didn't think he was Duke level good from the get go. Is what I was basically getting at.
Maybe not.
And again, I think he can get to that point. Not saying that he can't. I just thought maybe he should have started off smaller and then worked his way, up. And so, but yeah. But Duke loses, which means the world wins. And then Tennessee loses, which means Kentucky fans win.
Yeah.
So now we have Illinois versus UConn on one side of the bracket.
Talk about an unlikely matchup that nobody
and
had.
On the other side of the bracket, you have Arizona and Michigan.
That most everybody had.
Yep.
See, it's one side of the bracket was lopsided and one side was not.
And let's be completely honest, no disrespect to UConn or Illinois. The true national championship is being played in the Final Four game.
Saturday. Yeah.
In the Arizona-Michigan, because while I do believe Arizona is going to win that game, whoever wins that game is going to win the national championship.
I tell you what, though, that Michigan-Arizona game is going to be close. Michigan is no slump.
Nope. They're not. I think Arizona will prevail. I think just at the end of With Michigan, when teams have been willing to get physical with them at times this year, like that will match their physicality, they've kind of not played the greatest. And I think Arizona is going to be willing to get as physical as Michigan is. The only difference that could be, and it's been Arizona's kind of kryptonite, is the 3-point shooting. Now, again, they don't shoot a lot of threes. That's not part of their MO. Now they can hit threes, but when you have people that in the system, when your system isn't built around, essentially shooting a lot of threes, it's kind of hard to, if you get down, get into that mode. So that would be the only thing. If Michigan were to get hot from three, get themselves in a lead, Arizona could struggle to get back a little bit, but we will see. First game on Saturday is the Illinois-UConn game at 6, and then at 8:49. So probably more than likely after everything moves back, probably 9:15 will be Michigan-Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, I got UConn and Arizona.
Yeah, I think it's going to be UConn and Arizona. UConn and Illinois did play earlier this year.
Oh yeah,
at UConn. Yeah, UConn won, and for the most part of that game, UConn did not play with Taurus Reed because he was in foul trouble. So
sounds like Illinois is gonna have a similar game plan. Get him in foul trouble.
Yeah, which I mean, UConn won that game, I believe, by 13 or 14 still.
Yeah.
But again, that game was beginning of the year. These are two different teams. These are two completely different teams. That game was 1 second. Oh, that game was at MSG, not at UConn. Sorry.
This says that UConn's opening up as a 2.5-point underdog.
Yep, they have Illinois favored by 2.5. Wow.
What? That's crazy.
And right now, Michigan is favored 1.5 over Arizona.
That's also crazy. Okay.
So, yeah. All right. So we got some wild lines. Maybe I may need to go throw some money down real quick.
Yep, you might need to.
But yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be UConn and Arizona. And then again, the Arizona Michigan game is going to be a fantastic game. I think whoever wins that game, regardless, even if it is Michigan that comes out, the national champion is coming from the Arizona Michigan game. So
probably.
And then UConn's playing really well. I mean, Danny Hurley's in his bag again. Like him or hate him.
Can we? Like him or hate him. The dude is entertaining. I mean, he did headbutt a ref and got away with it after the fact. Which, if you haven't watched that video, that piece of it, go watch it. But he basically did stare the ref down, headbutt him, and walk away, and they didn't call anything. So, I mean, they're even the refs respect him. It seems like so. I'm in a Sweet 16 pool. I've had UConn when this started, and I'm still obviously wrong with UConn, so I'm kind of rooting for UConn at this point.
Yeah.
So.
And you got old Big East ties with UConn,
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, but going back to Danny Hurley for a second, I mean, this is third Final Four in 4 years.
I mean, somehow if he pulls out another championship against these teams,
he's won 2 natties, potentially on his way to a third.
That's crazy.
I mean, we're talking Danny Hurley is I mean, he's got to be the best coach in college basketball right now.
I think the contracts he was being offered and still was turning down to stay at UConn could tell you that, but I mean, you're talking. You're talking coach of the decade.
You're talking like
at least
back-to-back natties. He's in another Final Four, third in 4 years. I mean, we're talking he's in early stages of like Coach K conversations,
like GOAT status.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, and the more they win, the more money he's going to get at UConn. So
I mean, they can only pay him so much.
I meant like more money he's going to get for to build on a roster.
Oh yeah. Well, they're a basketball school. That's all I got.
Yeah. So I mean, this isn't going away. This isn't like a Cinderella thing that that's just happened over the last couple of years. it's not going away. So, I mean, Danny Hurley, as long as he's at UConn, you almost have to imagine that UConn is going to be in contention all the time.
Yeah.
So, real quick, it was just announced Super Bowl 63, which is 2029, is returning to Las Vegas.
Ooh, nice.
So, but yeah, I've got Arizona and UConn. I do believe Arizona wins the national championship, as we predicted from the beginning. It's really been the only part of our bracket that has stood tall. So we started off so hot in our bracket, and it has just slowly gotten worse ever since. So
Yeah. Houston fucked us. Duke fucked us.
Florida fucked us.
Florida fucked us. They're just fucking us left and right.
Yep.
You know,
Michigan
honestly,
and Arizona are the only two that really have held it together for us.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, as for it's been a very exciting tournament so far. There's been a lot of really good games, and some good matchups. So, this is still going to continue, for the next 2 games. So, I'm pretty excited.
Which is why when I
was
talked about
pretty
last
excited
week, when
for all this.
people are talking about NILs killing the tournament,
Yeah, clearly
it's
it's not
not.
doing that.
it's
No.
not. Okay, I get it. I understand. Some people, there are people in this world that only watch the NCAA tournament for the Cinderellas, and I get it. But guess what? Without Cinderellas, that means I get more UConn Duke matchups. I get more Florida. I get more of these big time schools playing each other, which is ultimately what I want to see. So yeah, sure. You're not going to get your, you don't get your Siennas and your St. Peters of the world making runs, sure. But now I get to watch the heavyweights of the world, play each other, and which is what we want to see. If
Yeah.
we're being truly honest with ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, we still had some upsets. It's fun. I mean, people need to chill the fuck out on that shit.
Because like, what good is the Cinderella story if you have your teams like St. Peter's and them, or George Mason and all them, that make their run to the Elite Eight and then lose by 30. And then it's just like, oh, that's right, that's who you are this whole time. I'd rather, the Iowas of the world is a Cinderella story. But it may not be to you because they play in a power conference and they are a big school, but the Iowa run to the Elite Eight is a Cinderella story. The Texas run to the Sweet 16 is a Cinderella story.
Yeah.
Just because they're a bigger school doesn't mean that it's not.
Yep.
So the tournament is fine. You all need to stop just overreacting.
Yep. All right. So let's move on to some UFL. Like we mentioned earlier, we were at a game Friday night. Being that we are from the city of Louisville, Louisville just got a UFL team, Louisville Kings. It looks like football. It is football. And there's a few different rules. But I'll tell you what, the atmosphere was fantastic. There was 14 and there was ended up being like almost 15,000 people there. I think there was 14,500. Something like that. So it was packed. It was loud. The wind sucked, but it is what it is. I mean, this is going to be a successful venture in the city of Louisville. This is just more football for us already crazed sports town. And now you're combining Louisville and Kentucky fans into one sporting event. Honestly, you couldn't ask for a better city to do this in.
So real quick, the final attendance number for Friday night was 14,034.
30. Okay, sorry.
The capacity of every standing and the seats of 15,304. So one that far off from completely selling out.
I think it's sold out. I think people just didn't come.
Yeah,
because
people
of the
just didn't go because it was cold.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, it was very. I mean, it's a different style of football because it's actually like, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of points put on the board on Friday, but it's designed for points to be put on the board the way that the rules are set up.
Yep.
because there's no punting once you're past the 50. There is after a touchdown a 1, 2, or 3-point play. You get 4 points for a 60+ yard field goal. The rules are designed for there to be an opportunity to score more points, which is what a lot of fans want to see. So, the design of it is there, and it is electric. Don't get me wrong.
Boogie woogie woogie.
For the Louisville standpoint, though, those receivers in that weather and that cold couldn't catch a cold.
Well, we did have somebody moss on somebody. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, they had that. So you had they got their moment, but overall, for the most part, at least from game 1, I'm not going to speak on them, for the rest of the year or anything, but at least from game 1, Jason Bean threw 2 bad balls. They got picked off. The second one, you don't have a choice. You have to kind of make something happen going downfield.
Yeah.
So, but the first one was pretty bad, and it kind of made us all go, "Oh my God! Like, can this guy even throw?" Little did we know, he just after that interception threw dot after dot after dot after dot after dot. But these receivers just off the face mask, off the hands, off the shoulder pad. Everywhere but the hands. They just could not catch it. And Jason Bean, former Indianapolis Colt quarterback, so was a fan, and former Kansas Jayhawk. So the other thing is we have no running game whatsoever. There was no, if it wasn't Jason Bean running, there was no signs of life from a running game. Which honestly, I haven't found anything that says why, but with the lack of catching and the lack of a run game, it really makes you think, why did they cut Lynn Bowden 2 weeks before the season? So I don't know. It was very exciting though. And Birmingham, and for them to hold Birmingham really to 15 points and have a chance to win that game, Birmingham's a really good team. From the players that are on the roster, they have a lot of name players that you can point to and be like, yeah, I know who that is. So it was a very fun environment, and also this is our first game, the first ever game in a league. I think, like you said, this is a great city to do it in. But the only problem is this city will quickly turn on them as well. So I really hope this isn't we have, first season, if we are, not necessarily, I don't want to say we're bad, but if we don't have the greatest of season and then fans start not turning out for games, that's what I do fear. But I do really like the game, the atmosphere. Again, even when the cold, I thought everybody was in tune with the game for the most part. Obviously, not a lot of people knew who a lot of these guys were, besides, like Benny Snell, who was the Kentucky guy. But I'll tell you what, though, could have done without the halftime performance. That was kind of.
You don't like Russell Dickerson?
It's not that I don't like Russell Dickerson, but it was just nobody was really into the halftime show. And it kind of just seemed dead for the most part.
I think people are trying to.
I think we could have.
Food,
nothing against Russell Dickerson. I think we could have picked somebody better.
Yeah, likelihood and all. He's maybe too big for this, but Jack Harlow would have been the pick to do that. But listen, the experience. If you're in the city of Louisville or in around the area, even in the whole state of Kentucky, really. If you can make it out to a game, go to a game. The experience is fun. You're going to be around and close to the Nulu area if you want to do something before or after the game. There's good restaurants around that area. There's bars that are close to the stadium. Parking was not bad. There's not a bad seat in the stadium at all. You can pick any spot in that place, and you're going to be just fine watching the game. And it's not too high to where you can't see. But the best part really about this whole thing was the dancers. The dancers.
Dude,
I don't know if it was on purpose or it was just for a comedy bit or what.
When we say this, and it was such a bad watch that it was so entertaining.
There was nothing rehearsed, nothing nothing
I
practiced,
mean, this looks
nothing.
like they just they
They
asked
pulled
people
them
who
out.
wanted to dance.
Yeah.
It looks like they just went out and they were like, "Hey, would you want to dance tonight?" And they all just said, "Yeah." There was no rehearsal. There was no nothing. Everybody was out of sync. I mean, the guy that was the PA announcer is horrible. They got to find somebody else for that too. Um,
Yeah, he was reading from a note card the whole time. I mean,
and
you're telling me they
dude,
couldn't give this guy like a little bit of a heads up and said, memorize this stuff?
yeah, and I mean, he at one the funniest part of the night was watching one of the dancers come out and throw a t-shirt, and literally the first throw of the t-shirt goes straight into the wall. Not even, and
The
we're
bottom
talking
part
like,
of the wall, the ground.
and yeah, and we're talking like these walls at Lynn Family are about as tall as this. Okay, so the fact that she only had to throw a t-shirt into the crowd and couldn't even get it over that was hilarious. And then what was even funnier was they all threw the t-shirts and then left, and then here comes the PA announcer. Everybody get on their feet and get loud for t-shirts. Brother, they already threw them. What do you mean?
Oh my god, dude! They need to work on the in-game halftime performances and routines and stuff. And this is a new venture. I think they're gonna figure it out. Obviously, it's just gonna take some time, but it was almost worth the comedy of what was happening
Oh, 100%.
to watch. And if any of these dancers are listening to this,
I'm
don't.
sorry.
Well, yeah, this is nothing personal. It's just we could easily could tell that it was not rehearsed. Uh, yeah. So, but if you're in and around the area, please go to a game. It's gonna be fun. You could take your family. Tickets are not that expensive.
No, we spent $30 on our ticket.
$34 a ticket, which for a family of four could get if people don't have the money, can get expensive, I guess. But that's low for ticket prices for sports nowadays. So you're gonna spend way more. You go to an MLB game,
And
Bats
especially
game,
especially if
probably.
this team ends up becoming good,
Right. Go
take
now
advantage
while you
now of
can.
the first
Yeah.
year.
Right. And I do expect us to actually be top end of this league in the next 3 years. So just like we were with Lou City when they brought when they brought a USL team here, I mean, I fully expect us to be in the MLS in the next few years as well. So I mean, this city craves sports. It's just a sports town. So
Listen, it'd be cool to have
it's
somebody roll through the UFL here in Louisville and end up playing in a major role in the NFL
yeah.
after they have a great year through here.
Yeah, you got to remember these guys are basically trying out. They have aspirations to be back in the league in the NFL
For the most part.
for the
Yes.
most part. For the most part.
There are some older guys that are in the or some other guys that have understood that they're not making the NFL. This is the most they're gonna do.
But I mean,
There
they
are a lot of guys that are doing this for tryouts.
Yeah. Like I'll tell you what, I would have watched Bean.
Yeah.
A little bit. He
I bet you he will 100% for sure end up on a practice squad or get
somewhere,
through training grant. He'll get a training camp invite from somebody.
Yeah.
Now whether he ends up on a roster all year or not is one thing, but he will definitely at least get a training camp invite from some team.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
All right.
I'm
Well,
excited for the direction of this. We will 100% be going to more games.
Absolutely.
But yes, please, if you haven't experienced a UFL game, go out and experience it. It is a whole brand new thing. And the other thing I did like, it didn't seem like there was a lot of penalties.
No, I think there
So-
was maybe 4, maybe the whole game.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So the refs aren't out there to control the game. Like, get out and experience it.
Yep. All right. So last on the list here, it was MLB opening week, and they introduced a new ABS system. You want to talk about that, Lucas?
It is outside of the pitch clock the best thing baseball has done in the last couple of years. Between the pitch clock and then this it's made baseball more watchable to me. Because and I'll get to this a little later. I feel like they're gonna have to do something with this ABS system that's gonna eventually hold umpires accountable. because in the Red Sox games, I believe it was either Friday or Saturday, there were 6 different times the Reds challenged, or that the Reds of the Red Sox, sorry, the Reds of the Red Sox challenged a pitch, and it was wrong by the home plate umpire 6 times. I feel
Damn.
like that's got to be that you got to do something about that, because I get it because when they do it, they show you the essentially what's the robotic camera view of it. Now, if we're talking about you're missing like 6 pitches or something that are like this far off, sure, I get it. But 6 different times though has got to be a little bit like, buddy, I gotta like go through and ask you what do you consider your strike zone then at this point? Because there was twice for the Reds. I believe it was Eugenio Suarez, I believe it was, from the Reds. He did it in back-to-back pitches. And you could tell on the real quick, hold on. Yeah, Eugenio Suarez. He challenged a pitch and was the ump called a strike. It was a ball. Literally the very next pitch that would have struck, because the first one he challenged would have struck him out. The very next pitch, the ump calls another strike to strike him out. He challenges it right again away. And you could tell when he challenged it, the ump was irritated that he challenged it. Like, are you serious? And when he challenged it, he was right. It wasn't a strike. It was a ball.
When can they challenge it?
You can challenge whenever.
And do you only get so many a game?
You get 3 a game, but I believe it's
if you get right, you keep it.
Up to a certain amount though. So let's see. So yeah, you have to, the pitcher, catcher, or batter has to tap on their helmet or cap immediately within 2 seconds after a call. Successful challenges are retained while incorrect ones are lost. In extra innings, 1 additional challenge is awarded per inning if none remain. So yes, if the call is overturned, the team keeps their challenge.
You can go as many as you want.
So if essentially if you're successful with all your challenges, you have 3 all game.
Oh man. That's the umpires are going to hate that. And honestly, what you're going to eventually see is the home plate umpires going to disappear. You're going to have people in the out in the field, calling people safe and out.
Well, I don't think you could do that because you are going to have somebody behind home plate.
You can have somebody sit there and wait for a play at the plate.
But somebody's going to have to still call balls and strikes. Like, you can't just do.
Why can't you?
There's nobody you're not going to be able to play a game where you're essentially looking up at the monitor every pitch to see if it was a ball or a strike.
I'm saying eventually it will be that way, Lucas.
I mean, probably, yeah. I mean, eventually there's going to be no need for umps, refs, or anything. Eventually.
Eventually. Now it's taken away from the game, but the problem is that you're going to have these baseball players take advantage of what they're offering with this challenge system. And these baseball players have watched balls and strikes their entire life, and they know what it really is. And you're going to start seeing these players be more right than wrong. And it's going to, slow the game down because it's constantly going to be challenged. So they're either going to have to change the rule, or here's the system. The pitcher throws a ball, catcher, there's something back behind him reading it. It makes a second decision, ball or strike. And then you just keep going.
Yeah, but again,
I don't know. Maybe it's a hot take, but
they're going to use this ABS system, obviously, and it's been phenomenal so far. I just would like to see it eventually get to a point where it does hold these. Like, if we're going to continue like with the umpires, if you get so many, like, you have like a certain percentage of like right or wrong calls, and if you're after so many like wrong calls, we have to discipline you in some way.
Or something.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. You're going to have these umps. It might not be forced by the system. It might be forced by the umpires saying, we're not going to do this until this system is gone.
I mean, it probably will, but at the end of the day, it's going to be just like like the NFL's going through with replacement refs, MLB will just go hire replacement umps because there's always going to be somebody that will take the pay and go. So,
Unless they keep getting them wrong, then what?
well, I'm not saying you're going to fire an ump over this. I don't think they'll do that, but I think you do have to come up with something. You got to
This
come
is
up
a
with
slippery
something that
slope for MLB.
it's good. You got to come up with something like you don't. Maybe you don't get maybe after getting so many wrong. Okay, well, now we're going to take away from you getting playoff games or a World Series game. You know, something like that. You know,
Maybe.
that does
I
have
don't know.
benefit to them because that's extra money for them. So, but you got to come up with something because there's no way that if I'm an ump and I consistently have all my challenges overturned from my original call, got to be something against the ump.
And if it's only, I mean, maybe it goes the other way. Maybe this was, you see 6 times. You're saying 6 times or something, but maybe it goes the other way, and you start seeing these umpires actually are right a lot, and that proves that they're doing a good job. I mean, it could go that way too, if we're really being honest.
See, this is where like the challenge system in
They
the
need to tweak it.
NFL is pretty good
Yeah, it
for the
is.
most part. The challenge now this new challenge system in MLB seems to work. This is where the NBA just in basketball the challenge system just doesn't work at all.
MLB is
Because
going to have to limit it. They need to limit
well,
it.
I mean they already do with giving you 3, but I
Yeah,
mean if
but
you're
if
right,
you're
you're
right
right.
every time, then you get to keep it. I think
Well,
you need to be like, here's 5 for the whole game, whether
I
you're
mean
right or
yeah, you could
wrong,
probably do that.
and then that's it. You're out of challenges.
But I like putting this is why when I say I like putting challenges in the hands of players because now it's going to really show it's really going to show who knows what and everything because that's why I've said every time you see in basketball when you see these players that turn and look at their coach and do this, I think if any player on the court does that, that should be an automatic referee. All right, cool. We take that as a challenge. Like because it happens too many times in basketball that I would like to see players get, penalized for it essentially. If they're right, they're right. If they're wrong, they're wrong. But I think every time somebody goes like that, cool. Let's challenge it then. Because because players are going to do it in the heat of the moment, and it's really going to cost them at some point.
Yeah.
Just like I think at some point this is it goes either way, where a player goes to challenge a pitch or something, it's going to cost them a game, or the other way that it could save a game. So that's what I'll be more interested for is when we get down to the World Series. How much does the ABS save a team?
Guess we'll find out this
So,
year.
But I really like it. I think it makes it again. It's holding umps accountable. Now, again, we find a way after they're going to play out this year and see how it works out. Obviously, maybe they do come to an agreement of you only get 4 for the whole game or 5 for the whole game, something like that. Now, with that, I would still say if you challenge one and you lose, you still lose your challenge, like lose another challenge. I would say there's got to be some penalty in being wrong on your challenge.
Yeah,
that I would say with that. So, like, if you have 5 challenges, you challenge one and you're wrong, I'm taking an extra challenge and now you're down to 3. Like that's where that slippery slope is going to come in. But I think you do something like that, it'll be fine. But yeah, I really like the ABS system. Again, and it also shows. You want to talk about a game of inches? How much? Because I mean, there have been many of them where it'll be on the line and the ball will be that much off the line right there. That much on top of the line, but they have to call it a strike because technically it's in the strike zone.
yeah. I
And
mean, I think home plate umpires' job in general is so difficult to do. But I mean, I tell you what, these players, like I said, have been doing this for so long. They know what is a ball and what is a strike. For most part, it's you're going to see umpires be right sometimes, but you're going to see players be right more than umpires, I think.
Yeah. So far, it seems to be that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see how the rest of the year goes, but yeah, we're officially in baseball season, so means we're getting close to the end of college basketball. I feel like we've just started talking about it yesterday.
See, but this is what we were talking about on Friday. This is why we like the UFL. This is
Right,
going to be a
yes.
summer thing that leads us into college football.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, well, that pretty much does it for this episode. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, give us a follow, and we'll see you guys in the next one.